Good morning, class. For today, we are going to discuss the introduction to SQL, data mining, and related topics. So again, we are on Introduction to Data Mining and SQL. This is chapter 10 of our business analytics course. And as a review, we have already understood the concept of big data. So big data primarily refers to data sets that are too large or complex to be dealt with by traditional data processing application software. So data with many entries offer greater statistical power, while data with higher complexity may lead to a higher false discovery rate. So as I have illustrated in the past, you think of big data as a huge mountain or a huge wave. And then with that, we need people who will be extracting the data. No? Kailangan natin ng people who would mine from that mountain, or if it's a sea, extract under the sea precious minerals, corals, etc. For big data, get insights, get information, okay, nuggets of information. So every single day, information is being taken from a lot of data gathering points. No? Like for example, if you go to a mall, there's a CCTV there. There's POS booths where your cards are being scanned all the time. No? So lahat nare-record yan, your name, your transaction, the amount you spend, how often do you spend, so on and so forth. Okay? So imagine nyo na lang everyday lahat ng information na it goes to certain warehouse databases. So thus, the concept of data mining is born in necessary. So data mining is the process of extracting and discovering patterns in large data sets involving methods at the intersection of machine learning, statistics, and database systems. Okay? So there are a lot of tools that you can use for data mining. In fact, what you have learned the past midterm, okay, half of the term is just Excel and yung basic information about business analytics. Or in fact, that's just one small tool in a large plethora of offerings. I've had the chance to work with a company that has trained me for SAP and SAS, okay, these two. But again, that's just many, that's just a few of the many tools that you can use. When you research, you can also use SPSS. I'm also teaching research, so I know a little about SPSS. Now, I'm not a statistician, but we were required to learn SPSS. So yung mga popular dyan, you have R, you have SQL, you have Python, so on and so forth. Within data mining, there is a group of tools that have been developed by a research community and data analysis enthusiasts. They are offered free of charge using one of existing open source license. An open source development model usually means that the tool is a result of a community effort not necessarily supported by a single institution, but instead the result of contributions from international and informal development teams. So what we are going to cover in this learning episode, okay, is SQL and the introduction for SQL. So what is SQL? SQL stands for Structured Query Language, and SQL lets you access and manipulate databases. SQL or SQL became a standard of American National Standards Institute in 1986 and of the International Organization for Standardization or ISO in 1987. So there are a lot of things SQL can do that's just not possible with Excel. Now, to put it simply, If you will use Excel, there is a chance that it would crash if thousands and thousands of rows and columns are loaded. No? So imagine niyo na lang maglo-load kayo ng isang malaking um, data set in Excel. Magka-crash talaga siya. So Excel is not designed to handle large amounts of data. Okay? So that's where other tools like SQL comes in. Okay? So take note that SQL executes queries against a database. So database na siya. No? So malaking storage of information. Retrieve data from a database, insert records, can update records in a database, can delete records, etc., etc. So why do we need to learn SQL? Again, first of all, it's the cornerstone of pretty much every modern business. As a data analyst is one of the most valuable a data is one of the most valuable commodities in the world. Being able to manipulate it, define, control, and understand it is very crucial. Okay, the more data driven your job is, the more important SQL is to succeeding. So again, mas marami kang hinahandle na data, you need bigger tools, and that's where SQL comes in. It is also a universal language that is transferable to other disciplines, and learning SQL can help you understand the workings of other languages such as Python, Java, etc. Finally, it's a prize skill within data science. In fact, SQL is the most in-demand skill among all jobs in the field, appearing in 42.7% of all data science job postings. Not just in Indeed. Again, I challenge you, you can look it up in JobStreet, Upwork, and many others. You will really find SQL as a necessary skill if you're aiming to become a data analyst. Okay, so a SQL Server is providing a data mining platform which can be utilized for the prediction of data. So there are a few tasks used to solve business problems, and those tasks are to classify, estimate, cluster, forecast, sequence, and associate. So again, we would be needing tools for this subject, okay? We can actually use PostgreSQL. I have PostgreSQL in my computer. In fact, I can show it to you right now. This is it, no? Okay. So I understand that some of you might not be able to download and install SQL because, again, for practicality purposes, not everyone in this course has a laptop, a computer. We are in a state university. So there is an alternative actually. Okay? If you are unable to download SQL, install it in a computer, you don't have access to it, we can actually go to SQLpractice.com. And that's what we're going to do today. Okay? We're going to SQLpractice.com and then practice some of the basic commands that we can use in SQL, which is select, from, and where. So as an example, here is how PG admin looks like and how a SQL query looks like for a database. But then again, in our case, we will be using an online resource, which is SQLpractice.com. Because I understand there are some of you who don't have access to laptops, desktops, just borrowing computers, and yung ibang computers might be outdated, might not be compatible, okay, in terms of specs if we will have this installed in your computers. So with that said, we will be using this platform from here on out. So SQLpractice.com, as you can see, very straightforward yung kanyang presentation here. You have the entire sheet where you can work in PG admin. When we run queries, okay, we just press F5, okay, here or F5 or this execute or refresh button. But for this, you can just click run selection. So let's start with a couple of example um, commands or query commands that we'll be learning today, which is select, from, and where. So here we have the command select, and then we have asterisk. Asterisk stands for everything, and then from, it is another command, and then patients is the name of the table. So if I click run on that, you will see that we can expand this. We were able to pull records from the patient's table, and it has around 4,530 results, okay, with several pages. No? So if you would run this in Excel, definitely mauubos yung time mo, or chances are it would crash because of the heavy weight of the file. No, the size of the file is too large. Okay, and then what this query is trying to say is that we are trying to select everything from patient's table. Okay, so itong everything, we can replace this with any column we would like to select. Like for example, I wanted to just see first name. I could replace this with first name, and that's just like Excel. When you type something, it would suggest either the formula, the command, or the name of the column that's available in the selection. So if I would say first name, and then I'll try to run it, it would just show me the first name. So what if I would want to see both first name and last name? I can do that as well. No? So as you can see, SQL is a very powerful tool. With Excel kasi, when you open the file, you would see everything right away unless you hide or show any specific columns. But here we can mix and match, even merge, and how do I term this? Pag-hiwa-hiwalayin. No, let's say Donald Waterfield uh, M is in just one cell. Pwede natin siyang paghiwa-hiwalayin. We can dissect the contents of one cell. Okay? So, going back. So, the next would be what if. Okay? So, we are just in the introduction, and then we're trying to learn a few commands. So, we have understood that select is from the term itself, select, and then from gives your query the direction. Okay, where are you going to pull it out? Kasi let's say you have several databases, magbabago yung pangalan where you would pull it out. Okay, so let's say I would want to pull out all of um, all of the patients who are male. Okay, so if I would want to do that, I would be needing the name, of course, and the gender. Okay, that's plain and simple. So I would be needing these three columns, right? If I would want to show who is male. Kasi it wouldn't make sense if I would just pull out male. So lalabas yung male dito, but sino yun, right? So we would definitely need the names. So with that in mind, let's try if we could execute that. So select first name, comma, uh, last name, comma, and then of course, kailangan natin yung column ng gender, right? We wanted to show who is male. Okay, so we would include gender from patients, and then we introduce another command which is called where. So from is another. This is some sort of another directional query. So from patients, or sorry, not direction, but rather a condition. So direction from patients where specifically you have a condition kung saan, parang sa Tagalog, kung saan. First name, last name, kung saan, male. Kung sino ay male. So where gender, kasi that's the name of the column, is equals to open quote M close quote. Okay. Let's see if it's okay. Open quote, close quote. So remember that this is case sensitive, no? So you have to type capital M because that's what we are seeing here. So let's try to run this. Okay. Oops, sorry. This is a PostgreSQL. We can use in double quote. So let's try to run again. Select first name, comma, last name, comma, gender from patients, and then where it is a condition. If from is the direction where you will be pulling it out. Where is condition? Parang where in, kung saan. The gender is equal to uh, male or M. Okay. So there. So let's dissect now. Select first name, comma, last name, comma, gender from, kung saan mo siya kukunin, where it's a condition, the gender is equals to, open quote, M. Notice that I have placed it in capital because this is case sensitive. And then close quote. Equivalently, I could replace that with F or female and then click run. And then this time, it's going to show me customers such as Sue Falcon, which is a female, Sarah DeMarco, which is a female. So all of these things, okay, are shown. So again, you have 2,062 results. No? So napakadami. If you would be doing this in Excel, chances are your window has already crashed. No, so that's the beauty of doing Excel. Uh, so that's the beauty of doing SQL.